Hey guys, what's going on? Third Street Reactions here. We're back. I'm Shane.
Zach.
We're back with the great Star Wars Visions. We're enjoying it very much. What do you think of the last one?
The last one was excellent.
Yeah.
There's probably... Man, I don't really want to knock off The Duel as my top episode yet.
Yeah.
But it might be my top episode.
Yeah, I agree. It's weird. I feel like, and I felt this way about certain movies, like as I've experienced things in life, certain elements of certain movies becoming more meaningful to me. Like when I became a father, that duel at the end of episode 6 makes me emotional as hell now.
Well, I haven't watched it in a while, so...
Or just like things that when I was a little kid, I didn't really get or empathize with. Yeah. Now that I have kids, I go, man, that is really powerful. You know what I mean?
You would imagine yourself dueling Mark Farley?
I think I'd win it. When it gets that, let's get a belt. Imagine,
So it's one of the whip savers, you know?
Yeah. Well, I drew this comic where we beat him so we can go to town. And then when he comes back later, he's a cyborg. He has like, he splits like Grievous. He has like 4 belts.
I remember it now, yeah.
Yeah. But, no, it was a really good one. And just like most Star Wars, this is something that I'm going to enjoy for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I mean...
And something I'll rewatch.
I will say, though, The Duel, I can see myself rewatching that more often than...
Well, you know what's weird is because I have kids, I don't know if they'd appreciate it as much. I think I'd watch like the more anime-esque ones.
Well, I'd probably end up watching those a lot more because of the kids. But I'm saying if I was watching them on my own time.
Yeah.
That's probably the one I'd rewatch more often.
Yeah, I agree. It's really good.
Yeah.
And even, like I said, the one that I think you and I think I agree that third one...
Twins?
Yeah, like, I like it a lot. But just compared to the other ones, I don't like it as much.
I thought it was okay. I'm not going to say it's terrible, but it's not one that it's probably one I would skip.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't watch Tatooine Rhapsody again myself, unless it was with the kids.
Yeah. It's just cool to have just more Star Wars, and because that's always a good thing. And they're all made by different people, different stories, different animation. It's great. And I love talking about it. I want to watch it now.
Okay. The Astro Boy.
Yeah.
Good morning. Gotta find CO3. Hold on, where did CO3 go?
Mega Man, too.
Yeah.
Hey! There you are, CO3. It's your turn for a tune-up. Then we can play Jedi afterwards.
Come along, my children. Let's get to work.
Teaching to be a real boy?
Maybe.
How long are we going to keep working on this?
How many times must I tell you? Until there are clouds in the sky and there is green on the land. We can stop only when there is life on this planet. And we are going to make this a beautiful place.
Because I really want to see the rest of the galaxy.
You don't know what it's like. You're safe here.
It's only dangerous because the Jedi are needed. Huh? What am I drawing? Well, obviously it's a Jedi Knight! Yeah! Is the strong!
That's really pretty.
Very pastel.
Looks like Batman, the animated series, is drawn on black paper.
T0-B1.
Yeah.
T0-B1. Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
You were imagining being a Jedi again, weren't you? The immediate. Adventure, excitement. I am afraid that being a Jedi is not as glamorous as it is in your dreams. You must find yourself a kyber crystal. There is one somewhere on this planet.
This thing?
The crystal is the core of the lightsaber, the weapon of a Jedi Knight.
This is a really pretty animated show.
Turn over stones.
And use the Force.
The Force?
Because you wonder if he's an android or something.
Where do I find the Force then?
Everywhere. The Force is present in all things.
Nothing.
The shadows kept changing with the light.
You've got a bad feeling about this? But this is the only place that I haven't searched. I'm just gonna take a peek. A ship? So cool. I'm T0-B1. This is a call to all Jedi. If you can hear me, report in.
Sounds like a fuck up.
Sir, we've picked up a suspicious signal.
It could be a survivor, sir.
Jedi.
What are you doing? T0-B1, get out of there right now.
I'm sorry.
Come here.
Why didn't you tell me?
In order to protect you, I need you to stay hidden. Do not come out for any reason.
So is this the Force? Please don't deactivate me.
CO3, I leave this child to you. I am one with the Force. The Force is with me.
Rogue One. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me.
What happened to everyone?
Yeah, they smashed all the droids and shit too.
Hope we don't have an Uncle Owen and Beru thing.
No. I'm gonna do it. I'll continue the research. I'll fulfill the professor's dream. Okay, here we go. Could this be life? Look, it's raining! It's actually raining! It really worked. The professor's dream has finally come true.
T0-B1, use the Force.
Where'd the crystal come from?
Yeah, it came from inside him. Like his power was on.
So, there is another Jedi on this planet. Where did you come from? Did that old homeless Jedi hide you away? I cannot allow you to become a threat!
Don't be afraid.
Professor.
You are prepared for this fight, Toby.
Toby?
My young Padawan. Toby, rise. As a true Jedi. And may the Force be with you.
There you go. The lighting is very, very beautiful in this episode.
Yeah.
A droid became a Jedi?
My name is Toby, and I'm a Jedi! Stop me! Let's go!
This is cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
We will continue our research and the professor's legacy of helping planets. Because that's what Jedi do.
That was our reaction.
Yeah, I really liked it, you know?
I liked it. It was a lot faster paced than some of the other episodes we had.
Yeah, and it was also one of the shortest as well.
Yeah, my main two beefs with this episode were the pace and the sound. The sound seemed off in this episode. A lot of points that you think would be like a loud clash
Okay.
were very soft and understated.
Okay.
And but other than that, very Astro Lad, very Mega Man, very Pinocchio.
Yeah, very Pinocchio. It's weird because like I feel like I like the sound effects, but the music didn't stand out to me.
Well, the music and the action sequences were, the sound seemed muffled. But
Okay.
the droids, you had a lot of the droids.
Yeah.
And their sounds, that was very overbearing. So
Okay.
you had a lot of that. But, like I said, that was my main beef with the episode. Toby,
Yeah.
T0-B1.
Yeah.
So, it made me think he was an android earlier on.
Yeah.
But, because maybe I don't know if I'd let into that. Like maybe he put his Padawan who was killed's brain in an android body
I didn't
or
think
something.
Didn't even think about that.
Well, how else could he use the Force?
It's a...
No.
How can this guy's Raiden's face?
Metachlorians and life is all supposed to be that whole thing.
Well, I agree. I don't think... Did he actually use the Force?
Well, I mean, he's like, they made it a point to say, a droid became a Jedi or whatever.
I think he can just fight and he has the values of a Jedi. I don't think... We haven't seen him use the Force.
Well, I guess you're right.
In my head, like...
You might be right. Maybe Grievous.
Yeah.
Maybe Grievous is a cyborg.
Yeah.
So maybe he's a cyborg.
I mean, he could be, yeah.
So he's not really a synthetic human so much as...
Well, if he's a cyborg, I guess he would still have some kind of connection to the Force because he's a living thing.
Yeah.
But, we didn't see him use it.
Well, the fucking saber went together.
Yeah.
He didn't, put all the little pieces in there. It went... and came all fucking...
I thought that was just like a manufacturing of, the narrative, of just... Now it's
that is
power.
An excuse used by a lot of people to explain a lot of shit that they didn't do a good job of explaining in a story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was him who did that.
So the saber just did it by itself.
Yeah, or...
And he had that moment where he had that moment in the Force where when he talked to his master.
Yeah, well,
out of body experience.
I would say that was the master projecting that. I wouldn't...
well, the other guy didn't see it.
Because he's not in on
I'm sorry, I think you're wrong.
How am I wrong?
I think you're wrong. I think if you're mistaken. Mistaken, which is a nice way of saying you're wrong.
No, if I'm mistaken, then I was mistaken about... Yeah, I think that's between him and his master. I think... I don't think Luke saw Ben Kenobi on Hoth because he's a talented Jedi. I think Obi-Wan talked to him. So
there was a moment where they're out of body. It wasn't like on fucking Hoth. Because Luke was just laying there, shitty in the snow.
Yeah. So Luke had less to do with it. Because I think he just saw a vision.
Sorry.
So I think that guy came to him in a vision.
How could he have a vision if he's a fucking droid?
Because they have sensory experiences.
But it's a vision unlike those other visions where he's just showing up in a little ghost form. Like, hey, what's up? And
yeah, I mean, 3PO...
the rain had stopped and everything.
Yeah, I do believe...
This is just them doing beautiful imagery and doing this over-the-top shit, kind of like they did in the Twins.
Yeah.
And where they're just giving you all this beautiful over-the-top shit that wouldn't really happen, and it kind of just takes away from the story. And if that's the case, then I don't like this episode that much.
I don't know if that's the case.
That's the argument you're making, because it can be the only argument you would have, the only ground you'd have to stand on.
Is what is it?
That they're just doing this visual, over-the-top storytelling to narrate.
No, I guess I don't think you need to have midichlorians in your body. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't if he's an android.
To make a saber float in front of you?
No, to have that conversation with a powerful Force user is dead.
I think the way this conversation happened is what I'm talking about.
So you think both people need to be connected to the Force to have that?
For that to happen, for him to have an out-of-body experience, more or less.
I disagree. You know what I mean?
And then the saber moment... And him having dreams.
The saber moment, droids have dreams.
Okay, well that's kind of retarded, but
well, I mean, it's they also feel fear. They're just like in this universe. They're just like
replicants, where they can experience human emotions.
Yeah, they can. I mean, the biggest flaw of Star Wars, James Cameron said, is that there wasn't a successful droid rebellion yet.
I don't know. What would they do?
I don't know. What would the fucking Terminators do?
I don't know.
They kill people.
Yeah, I know. So why is that a big flaw? These fucking things are just killing people.
Because he says that's what would happen in real life.
That there would be an AI rebellion.
There have been droid rebellions in Star Wars, but not successful ones.
Well, good.
Yeah, but he said that's the main flaw. It's and if droids were this smart, if they're torturing each other and they have fears and motivations, and then they would eventually come together.
Okay, well, I understand all that.
Yeah.
I can lend all that credence.
Yeah.
But I think the way that this was portrayed in this episode...
Yeah.
It makes it seem like he's more than just a droid.
I feel like you're right. So, I mean, I think it was... I mean, you said it yourself. It's like a Pinocchio thing. He's a real boy now. I mean...
Well, I don't know the story of Astro Boy.
Me either. I know the story.
Mega Man, he's a cyborg.
Yeah.
But I don't know...
I will say this. Just like you said, I didn't even think about the android thing. And I kind of give thought about it after you said it. But there was a vision where he there was imagery of him being a boy.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that could be evidence that he's an android.
Yeah. There's a little
Or if it wasn't, it was just a visual language showing.
It's like
us,
a little bit of both, like him wanting to be a real boy and him wanting to be a Jedi.
Yeah.
But I would say I would lean towards, just based on the way they decided to portray this visually.
Yeah.
That he is probably a cyborg.
Well,
because he doesn't look like
he's different than the other droids.
Yeah.
Like they're wheeling
he doesn't
around
look anything like a standard droid.
You're definitely right, and he's in a little tank and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, did you make me taller? And
yeah.
So if he's not, then they're leaning into the Pinocchio mythology, where he is becoming so human that he has these human motivations, and
Well, kind of, but the way the saber came together, like I said, and the way the vision happened, I'm sorry, but it leans more towards him being more than just a boy to begin with, or more than a
No,
boy.
I agree. He's a cyborg, or they're leaning into the Pinocchio thing, where he is now, and this crazy Japanese saying, he is now a real boy. And
if they're paying homage to some Japanese franchises like Astro Lad.
I haven't seen it. I thought it was like
Astro Boy. Sorry, I'm getting it mixed up with Astro Lad, which is Ashley Wood's like knockoff version of Astro Boy.
Yeah.
And he has the versions that he's drawn and done in his art style, which are pretty neat, but they're not my thing. Mm-hmm. But they kind of they're lending credence to that. And I wish I knew more about Astro Boy. I don't. To say that he whether or not he's a cyborg.
For some reason, I thought it was an American production CG thing. I must be thinking of something else.
They did a version of it, I think.
Okay, maybe that's what I did.
But it was originally an anime and maybe even a manga before that. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar enough with the franchise.
Okay.
But it definitely reminded me of Mega Man. It was like the old man scientist that creates him. It's like his father kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
So, I don't know. And it might be leaning towards that sentience and everything, AI and all that.
Yeah. Which Star Wars has always kind of dodged, just like the James Cameron thing. Like, this is a universe a long time ago. It's dirty and used. Droids are droids. Humans are humans.
I do understand that droids have very distinct personalities and quote unquote emotional responses.
Yeah.
So like we watched that episode with the boat driver, or the boat.
Yeah.
Driver droid where he's like drinking oil with tea and has these things have very distinct personalities and attributes. I get that. I just think that the way they portrayed it here with this one specific with Toby,
he's something different,
and he actually calls him Toby. He actually has a name, so T0-B1. But he says Toby at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe it's him christening him with a human name, or maybe it's a T0-B1 was meant to be.
Yeah.
Kind of in respect to his real name as Toby.
Okay.
Don't know. Maybe we'll never get the answer. Maybe this is like a fucking Blade Runner for us. And it's whether or not, he's a Harrison Ford is a replicant or a human,
Yeah.
Which I know Ridley Scott tried to come out and say, but then Harrison Ford said no. So
I love how Harrison Ford has so much
clout.
Leverage.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm a human. I wrote the story.
To me, I actually love this one, but my biggest problem would actually be the Kyber crystal. I felt like came up pretty suddenly.
Well, the Kyber crystal has been a very focal point for a lot of these episodes.
Yeah,
even right back to the beginning with the duel, he's collecting Kyber crystals from these Sith Lords or whatever, or Dark Force users, Dark Side users. He's collecting them. The Kyber crystals have been a story mechanism in a lot of these episodes.
Yeah, it has.
They weren't really in Tatooine Rhapsody.
No.
But they were in the Twins. They had the big Kyber crystals for the ship. And what else did we have? The Bride, not so much. But we had it in
the previous one where that guy
the ninth Jedi.
He's alive,
the ninth Jedi.
The ninth Jedi. Yeah.
So they're playing a very prominent role in most of these stories.
Yeah.
By and large. So I understand why it's in there, just because I've kind of accepted it. That it must be something that they're focusing on.
Which is weird because I feel like that hasn't been a big focus, in my opinion, of Star Wars normally.
Well, maybe that's why.
Yeah, except Rogue One, there's this focus on it, but that's really about it.
Well, it's weaponized.
Yeah,
well, it's weaponized in sabers, but it's being weaponized on a larger scale.
Then the Sith take that thing and they make it their own.
Yeah.
Planet killer, which is cool. I don't know. I guess I'm starting to kind of feel like he
can't just be a droid.
Yeah,
he cannot just be a droid, at least based on... Unless someone is going to step back and say, well, it's just beautiful storytelling and visual respect. Well, fuck it. I mean, if that's the case, then we shouldn't count any of this as anything and just sit back, take it in like popcorn and soda at the movie theater, and walk away and shit it out later. So there has to be some kind of living element to him that's actually, a, what do you call it? Like a...
Take your time.
whatever organism, like a living organism, not like some fucking egghead would argue that, maybe AI is kind of living or whatever, but
like a non-synthetic, is what you're trying to mean?
Yeah.
Like a...
Whatever. An actual living organism.
Yeah.
So I think there's been enough visual cues to suggest that he would be that. So kind of like a Grievous.
I think you're right. I think if I rewatched it, I'd probably filter the episodes through that, and I'd see it even more.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Well, it's kind of like a Grievous instance, and maybe it was his Padawan he doesn't have his arms. Mitaka doesn't.
Yeah.
So maybe
there was some kind of battle.
There was a battle or something, and T0-B was injured.
Okay.
Or near death.
Because why does he need to go in that tank?
Yeah, none of it makes any sense unless you start to, ascribe that.
Yeah.
To him being.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think. We can obviously interpret the story how we want.
So. Well, you can, and some people might say, well, what can't. I really just don't. Star Wars has not lent enough credence in that corner to say that a droid can develop any Force sensitivity. Because his master keeps telling him to use the Force. He tells him to use the Force fairly often in the episode. Yeah. Like 2 or 3 times.
Well, there's people who grew up with the old trilogy, who and it's never been this way. If you study old trilogy, it's very clear that the Force is my father had it, my sister had it, it's strong in my family.
Yeah,
that it was a genetic thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're predisposed.
Even though Yoda says it is all around us, that's true. Certain people can use it, but there are people who misunderstand the old trilogy to say that anyone and everyone can use the Force, and it shouldn't be a family thing. You should be able to take a random person and train them.
I just think it's a predisposition,
and they think
your
and
some of those lineage has more midichlorians in it, than this other guy.
And some people might think, this, and I think they'd be wrong, and I think people think this are wrong, that a droid could, using it through this incorrect old trilogy lens, could develop a Force connection.
No,
I agree that they're wrong.
Because I think that's George Lucas's vision, like it or not, because I have a lot of beefs with it.
Yeah,
he brought in the midichlorian count.
Yeah,
and
that's it. But it's always been there.
I know that. I'm saying though that it's his vision.
Yeah,
so for better or worse, to me, it's kind of like Nanomachine's son.
Yeah,
in the Metal Gear Solid universe. Mm-hmm. But I'll take it because for one, I just don't. There's never been any emphasis or any indication on synthetic organisms or droids or
you're right. I don't think they're going to start that now.
No, they shouldn't. And but the way that Mitaka kept telling him to use the Force, the kids, he's having dreams.
I think you're definitely right. I think he definitely was a Padawan who was injured.
Yeah,
and because he sleeps in that tank at night.
Critically injured.
We see that vision of him as a boy.
Mm-hmm.
So whether he was or he is now, with the Pinocchio thing, he's definitely not a droid.
No, he's not. He's got to be a cyborg.
Okay. Yeah, and for other
right and true.
So I didn't outright disagree.
No, but you put up a good fight in the beginning.
Well, I wanted to play devil's advocate and say, well, let's think it through. And now I think we've developed.
I did think it through when I was watching it.
Well, you were talking about the Force. I did because he didn't specifically use the Force.
The lightsaber, man.
Well, I don't know if that was him putting it together.
Who else was putting it together? His master's dead.
The master came and talked to him.
Yeah, but they don't ever affect anything in reality, do they? They don't go flip switches and shit.
They affect things.
So they put together lightsabers, like anything that intricate? There's like a T-1000 here, man. Can it just... can it imitate solid objects, or can it imitate like a pack of cigarettes or a bomb?
There are the dead in the movies that influence things.
What do they do?
There was an instance in the new trilogy where a special Force user who is descended physically alters.
Ascended.
Well, I guess they are ascended because they are
descended makes it sound.
Oh yeah, they're deceased.
They ascended.
A deceased ascended person. Sorry, affects something, and I'm trying to think. we actually have talked about this quite a bit, so it's definitely causing a lot of conversation.
Yeah,
I really like
That's
this.
because we got into the argument about Toby.
Yeah.
And it just carried it.
I really liked it. I really liked it.
I liked it.
And there was this innocence to it, where I think you can show anyone who's never seen Star Wars, never seen anything, and show them this and go, "Oh, this is in essence Star Wars."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the only thing it didn't have, because it has the Joseph Campbell mythology, but George loves westerns. He loves samurai, so he took that and he melded it with Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, and he created Star Wars. So it just didn't have any of those elements, but it had. The hero's journey. The kid who's stuck at home in a small town wants to go off to a bigger city. Parents like, fuck no, you're going to stay here. The city's dangerous.
Yeah.
And then they,
Well, obviously
but then they
that
grow up.
longing. I mean, has that longing ever been expressed either? In Star Wars for a droid?
Oh, for a droid?
No. Other than a programming or a mission. Say is that longing, that human longing?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, because R2's always he has his mission wherever he's programmed to go and do. So he's always been antsy to go and do that kind of shit. But he's never like, I'm dreaming of.
Well, he's
not being in this can.
I don't. It seems to be that they kind of like with Rick and Morty. They don't have those kind of moral quandaries and existential crises.
Yeah, so it's like,
but they do have feelings.
Kind of like Philip K. Dick. Do androids dream of electric sheep kind of thing?
Yeah.
What do they dream about? Where's it coming from?
Yeah. So they dream, but I don't know. Like, that's part of the argument of like, well, if this was real, then droids would have taken over the galaxy. It's like that's.
Well, not if those people were wise enough to say, hey, we better limit these fuckers because, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And we're putting guns in their hands.
Because in the Star Wars universe, we have droids making droids. We have, but George wasn't trying to create that kind of world.
They have inhibitors.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, not all droids have them, I guess,
No, like special cases.
And R2 has knocked his off a couple times when he's needed to.
It's kind of pesky. I've said it before in one of the previous episodes. The Japanese mechanical designs are usually, in the instance of anime and manga in the artistic world, badass.
Well, it's interesting.
Toyotas, they're definitely reliable vehicles.
Yeah.
I'm not going to knock them.
Yeah.
But,
not only they're the coolest looking cars.
They're not the coolest looking ones, though. I mean,
when you open the hood, though, as a mechanic, you go, whoa.
Well, they're compact. You can't hardly work on anything in most modern vehicles because of all the electronics and shit.
Okay.
And all.
But you feel like, Jesus, man, if I drew this, it'd be crazy.
If I drew it, it'd be fucking. I don't know. You look under enough car hoods because I work on heavy equipment.
Okay.
There's a lot more space in there to work normally. Not always.
But if you're a little Asian, that you get inside the engine.
If I was a smaller person,
like one of the borrowers.
Well, everything I had that would be in there even would crush me. It would kill me, drown in the oil. So, no, I mean, but they've always done a great job of mechanical design.
Yeah.
And I think that it shows through here. And the character design, too.
Yeah.
I mentioned Yoshi Shikawa in previous episodes, or at least one.
Mm-hmm.
Just brilliant.
No,
They're hard workers. They're hardworking. They have a hardworking society and culture.
Yeah.
And it really shows in pretty much everything they do.
Yeah.
And it's appreciated.
I mean, as far as the things I'm exposed to, for sure.
Yeah, you don't appreciate it as much, but it's okay.
I do. I'm Asian. I'm just a cracker. No, I'm just kidding.
But you're half cracker, so.
I am half cracker.
There you go.
That's it. Guys, thank you so much for watching our reaction and review. And look, you made it to the end. Good for you. You're one of the very few. You're now going to be entered.
The few, the proud.
You're going to be entered to a contest. No, actually, we have nothing.
Not yet.
There's no contest.
No contest.
Zakk can draw things. You can have that.
Yeah, when I have time.
Yes. Like and subscribe. Go check out other videos.